No, the next thing I come to that is Samalochana, Shankaraji. So can you just explain that on that?
Yeah. See, Alochana is thinking. I think in the Tamil language, Alochakar means thinker or editor, something. The meaning is something along those lines. Somebody who looks critically at things.
Yeah.
And Samalochana is thinking together,
Mhm.
sharing your thinking. That is, we do brainstorming together. I will make a proposition, and you can either accept it or reject it. You can say why you cannot accept it, why you're rejecting it, and then somebody else will jump in and they will say, no, Jai Shankarji is right, you've got to modify the sutra, something like that. So we have to think together. Why do we need to do this? Because, after all, you developed a manana, you developed an understanding, and it may not be well rounded, and it may not be robust enough and strong enough to withstand critical punches which it may receive from so many other thinkers like you. So, in order for it to become robust and strong and withstand the critical punches from other people, you must discuss with your peers. And your peers may have an alternative viewpoint, and they may be more nuanced in your thinking, and you may learn something from them, and they may also learn something from you. Therefore, it is good to do the brainstorming and thinking so that the sutra which you got, which you gleaned, and on which you contemplated, it acquires a well-rounded, a greater completeness through that process.
I have a doubt here, Shankarji. Like, see, I have not perfected my level of thinking on a particular sutra. Now, if I am going to discuss it in a Samalochana, even my fellow seeker would also be in a similar situation. So I have a biased thinking. He might also have a biased thinking. But if both of us are going to discuss, is it not going to give? Will it give me a right
It
truth?
depends, you see, it depends. It depends on with whom you do the thinking together. You've got to do the thinking together with your friends and with your peers and with your fellow seekers. And everybody may come with a certain prejudice or may come with a certain bias and certain, they may come with, they may have some pet theories, and they may be attached to their pet theories. So when you make a proposition which demolishes that pet theory, they're not going to like it. So they will challenge you and they will say, I don't accept it. So we have got to see whether they're coming from a very objective and impartial thinking of a truth-bearing nature, or whether they're attached to their discovered truth. They're attached to something from the past and they're trying to defend it all the time. You've got to see that. On the whole experience of discussing with other people will make your discovered truth acquire greater stability and greater completeness. Therefore, you must discuss. Otherwise, you can be in a fool's paradise. You've discovered something, and you may be thinking, "I'm a big genius. I got this." But only when you talk, you will know that the other person, through a single thought, he can dismiss your discovery. So he may be presenting some new data which you are unaware of. With the new data, he'll give you a flip, and then out goes your understanding.
Okay.
So once I was talking to a professor of business management who is one of the founders of the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. And he told me that in the University of Berkeley, the population density is very high. So in a small campus, very dense, all brilliant people, all brainstorming. And if you come up with a new idea, then because they are almost breathing on each other, elbow to elbow, so jam-packed, that within the next 1 hour, within the next 2 hours, your thought, your pet theory will be hit for a six, finished.
Yeah.
So it won't last more than more than 2 hours. It won't last because there are too many people. They're all like juggling with that ball of hypothesis, and it'll be dismissed by critical thinkers. So, but that critical thinking is very important because otherwise you can be in a fool's paradise.
And
Very important.
this is how even in the ancient days in India, I think there was a kind of an Vada
Yeah,
thing.
Brahmavada.
So that developed out of this thing.
Absolutely. I mean, thank you for going so far. You see, India, if you look at all the scriptures, you take the Bhagavad Gita and you take the Ayurvedic texts, Ashtanga Hridaya and Charaka Samhita, and you take all the Upanishads, they are all conversations between a truth seeker and a teacher. Okay? But you will find that the modern teachers who are supposed to be teaching this, you don't see these dialogues anymore.
Okay.
There's only obedience, there is conformity. So the student is not given the liberty, is not given the space of freedom to discover the truth himself. And Parashara's Horashastra in astrology, conversations between the teacher Parashara and the disciple Maitreya. So all the texts are only conversations, dialogues. And that is how you can discover truth. You cannot discover truth any other way.
Okay.
And this is part of our tradition, but we lost it. We lost it. And Krishnamurti is the only teacher in the modern world who has brought it to the forefront. And very sorry to say it, but you'll find that Krishnaji is talking to leading thinkers in the West. But I have not seen Krishnaji talking to leading thinkers in India. There are no recorded podcasts. It's very sad.
In a recent meeting, I think we had, you were talking about two types of things. One is to people inwardly silent and listening to each other, and then responding to each other's queries, doubts, and other things, or to be in solitude and discuss about that. So, which one is better actually?
Yeah. Solitude is important without any question, because it's only in the space of solitude that you can really deeply process whatever you're supposed to learn or whatever you're supposed to have learned. Bring it to the surface and do thinking, and you yourself can be an opponent in that understanding game. You can do that in solitude. But another possibility exists where you start dialoguing with a person who is very silent so that he can listen to you. Now, if he can't listen to you, then what's the point of dialoguing? Obviously, it's pointless.
Yes.
So you've got to get another person who is silent, who is willing to listen to you, who is open to truth from a new angle. And then when both of you think together, dialogue together, then I think it's like two motors or two dynamos working in resonance. And you can discover a lot more. Because for you, he's a sounding board. For him, you're a sounding board. So you serve as each other's sounding boards, and you can discover a lot. But for that, in the conversation, yourself must not butt in to the conversation. His self must not butt into the conversation. You must not have a secret agenda. He must not have a secret agenda. Then you can go very far. That's how real dialogues must be.
I understand, Shankarji.
So one has to have those discussions.
So both are important.
Otherwise, you are in a fool's paradise. And the tradition is, we lost it. Lost it. Krishnamurti is the only world teacher who has the whole work of his life is only through dialogues. And this is not a dialogue between two noisy minds. No.
True.
It's a dialogue between two silent minds.